Call the advisory committee to order. Roll call, Alderman Lysick,
Here.
Alderperson
Aye,
Vitale,
here.
and
I'm here.
Alderperson May.
Here.
All are present. We do have the alderman candidate from the second district. And before I get to you, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who's present. Our fellow aldermen, it looks like, this afternoon to observe the last interview for the advisory District 2 alderperson position. I'm joined by members of the committee, Vice Chair Mike May, Council President Tom Lysick, and Alderperson Vince Vitale. We will be conducting this last interview by asking a list of pre-selected questions. Each of our committee members will be responsible for 3 questions that we'll be asking you. I would ask that everyone in the room remain quiet during the interview with the exception of the alderperson asking the questions and the candidate responding. We will now begin the interview with Kurt Potochich. Is that how you pronounce your name?
Correct, yes.
Kurt? The last question, the first question, I should say, the last question will be by me, but the first question will be posed by Council President Tom Lysick. I welcome you and thank you for your interest in the position of the second district alderperson. We've allocated 20 minutes for you for this interview. We've conducted already, this is the 9th interview that we've conducted. And hopefully we'll get some really good answers from you. Let's see, here we are. You're welcome to stay after the interview if you want to see the deliberations taking place. And once the interviews are completed, the committee will decide the next step in the process, which will range from anywhere from selecting the final person for appointment by the Common Council or narrowing it down to another interview with the candidates. It depends on how things go. Please be cognizant of the time limit, which is 20 minutes, and provide concise answers if you can. Okay, the first question will be asked by our Common Council President, Tom Lysick.
How do you view the role of an alderman?
The way I think of it is listening, learning, listening to what the citizens have to say, learning new things, what needs to get done, why it needs to get done. It may be difficult at first, but learning is something that I've always done in all the businesses or places that I've worked at. I've always started from the bottom, worked my way up. And I think by applying those aspects to being an alderman would also be a great benefit. I've worked in Utah all my life. Customer service is always number one to us, or to me, I should say. We try to answer the question as much as possible to make sure that they can understand it and make sure that they can understand it so we can help them in any ways possible. It may not or it may not be the answer that they wish to know, but it's something for them to know that that we're listening to them and helping them in any way that we can.
Thank you.
Kurt, what characteristics, qualifications, and experiences do you possess that make you the most valuable candidate for the position?
You know, all my life, and I'm sure you read my resume, I've started from the bottom. I've worked out, as a floor supervisor, as a manager, and in being a manager, you have to be very knowledgeable on what you need to know for the specific job you have. It's not going to be easy because the customers, once again, do not understand you know, what they need and stuff like that. But with the help that we do, we kind of teach them, you know, what they need to learn and how it's supposed to be done. And it's, again, you know, and I've been working for AutoZone for over 20 years. I just received my 20-year pin just a couple of weeks ago. That says a lot for me, you know, it's, you know, and getting back to the question, customers respect us. You know, they want the most correct answer that they can give us. We try to give them the most easiest answers so they can understand. Our computers tell us the most things on how to do it and why it has to be done in a certain way. It's not easy for us to tell the customer what it could be and what it can't be. By telling them it's not the correct answer, we have to go back and we have to go back to the testings that we've done in all our lives, that we have tests that we do like once a month and stuff like that for the specific things that we have. We have tests for every single, like a brake test, you know, and how to change the oil. And we're very specific on how we have to do this. You know, we want to make sure that the customer has the right part, meaning, you know, make sure that the customer has the right part for their specific job that they want done. And the thing is, this applies to the same thing as being an alderman. You got to make sure that this is what the customer wants. In other words, what the citizen wants. It's not going to be easy. Yes, there's going to be, you know, stuff that the customer or the citizen may not want to hear, but it's the best answer that we can give them at the time. Yeah, I would probably look into it more and deeper and stuff like that, you know, to make sure that I would give them the correct answer. But it may not be the right answer that they want, you know, and you just have to do the best you can. That's, you know, it's not an easy process, but, you know, and I hope they understand that.
Thank you.
Kurt, have you ever previously considered running for Alderperson? If you have, why haven't you run?
I have at one time, but I just, at that time, I think I was, I think 2 years ago, 2 years ago, I did run. Unfortunately, because of work, I didn't have the time to do what I needed to do. The reason I did run is because I felt that at that time I was helping Diane with the bid, which I was also a bid member at the time as a volunteer. None of the alder people or anybody showed up to our meetings. And I felt that was one of the main things that we needed. And now we do have a representative from City Hall actually there at all our meetings. And I'm very pleased with that issue because it's very important that, you know, that the City Hall also helps us and guide us to the correct ways of us doing things.
What do you feel is the most significant shortcoming of the city council?
I think that the council needs to be a little bit more, I don't want to say direct. And again, the projects that they do and everything, it must be completed. Again, referring back to AutoZone, we have a table that we have to do, and it has to be done with the end of the week. If it's not done at the end of the week, you know, we need to know why it wasn't done at the week. And of course, our district manager will wonder why it wasn't done. If it's because of business, you know, we can understand that. But there are projects and things for us to do in order to get them right. And whether it's customer service or whatever, they can understand that, but we need to get things done right. And that's my biggest issue is, you know, things I think are probably being done right, but they're not being done to the citizens what the citizens want. So, I mean, that's the best way I can describe it. You know.
The city is in a stage of redevelopment. What areas in District 2 do you believe have the greatest need? And do you feel the Common Council has correctly handled economic development in the city as a whole?
I think the businesses downtown, I believe some of them may be struggling. And it's probably due that we're not really promoting as much as we should. I know Diane and Diane are doing their best to promote, you know, doing the car show, the a la carte, the wooden wings and stuff like to promote people to come downtown. I think it's some of the things that we do are going to be worthwhile to coming down. The a la carte, which we finally are making a little bit more safer by having the city trucks come down and block, so we have no vehicles coming through. And with the problems that we're having these days, we're trying to make it safe and make it safe as possible to, you know, have these events. The events are probably the best things for the city, and it brings a lot of people in. But I know that we need to improve the downtown image and help the people who own stores, make them more profitable.
Thank you.
Kurt, do you understand the time commitment required of an alderperson with meetings, constituent interactions, and general community involvement? And do you have the time and flexibility to accommodate the schedule?
I knew that question was coming up. You know, and I've been working with the bid office for 10 years. I've been with Dollar Tree for 10 years. And I've been working for AutoZone for 20 years. You know, and every time people ask me, you know, how do you make the time? And I make the time. My dad always told me, if you want it that bad, you make the time. And then his comment at the end is, you're nuts. I make the time, you know, because this is what I like to do. I like to help people. I have had several times that my brother-in-law would, or my sister would call me and ask for help at the very last minute. You know, I would change my schedule just to help her. So it's very important to me that on that issue, that family does come first.
Kurt, do you have any conflict of interest that we should be aware of?
One more time.
Do you have any conflict of interest?
Oh, not that I'm aware of. I don't think I do. I mean, my strategy is to work with the city and just try to understand and help the citizens understand, you know, what the needs are for the downtown and for the district. I know I have, where I live, I know there's a lot of people concerning about people just speeding over the rail tracks, and we got kids playing, and actually they cannot play in front of their yards because we got people speeding over the speed limit, and there's no stop signs. Okay, and we only have one stop sign, which is on Rogers, and they just do a roll through. So in that Pacific area, I think that is my biggest concern, is that to have, you know, the parents know that the city is a safe place. And where I'm living now, I don't, that particular area, it's hard to believe that where there should be stop signs, they're not. So that is my probably biggest concern when it comes to safety also.
Is there
Thank you.
anything in your background that may come up, which you would like to provide an explanation for?
You know, my background is pretty much stable. You know, where I work now, I know I've had complaints, you know, that people don't understand that we can't do certain things in our life. And I'm talking about like battery changes or, you know, newer cars we just can't do anymore because they're so built in, and you gotta take the whole bumper off in order to get to the headlight, you know. But we try to do as best as we can, you know, and whether they don't like it, they'll go on Facebook and they'll say, well, I'll never shop here again, I'll go shop at Advance. But we know how Advance is, you know, and right across the street from us, we're our competition, you know, and stuff like that. And we do the best we can to get the customers in. We don't advertise because it's always word by mouth. Because if you do, if you do a really good job helping the customer, that customer will tell 10 people, and out of those 10 people will probably tell 10 people, because that's all by word by mouth, and that's what we're doing now. It's all by word by mouth. You know, I can say that my alderman's doing a great job, and it's all by word by mouth. If I tell one person, that person will tell another person, and that brings people in, you know, to the downtown and to live downtown. Or not downtown, to the city, I should say.
What is your opinion of the city budget and taxes, and do you have any ideas to share?
I really understand some of the budget, but unfortunately, I have to go with what my knowledge is again, we always strive to project what the next outcome will be, whether it's the future and stuff like that. Can we do better? Yes, we can do better. How we can do better. It's hard to explain what the budget would be, but all I can say is it's all about helping people out to make them go to their next level, what they want to do. Without a budget, it's I have to just say it's not an easy thing to budget. There's always downfalls, and those downfalls may hurt the business, but there's always some upscales, you know, to help the city grow. And that's all I can say about that, unfortunately.
Thank you.
Kurt, how would you as an alderperson support the strategic plan goals, mission, and vision of the city?
As for goals, I would probably set my own goals to what I want to achieve to get to the next level, to where I would like to be. And of course, then after that, I would set my goals again to go to a higher next plateau. And that's the way I've always been. I always succeeded. I started from the bottom and I worked my way up. Certain things in the city, I know we've talked about what we would like to see for the city, and this is the bid-wise. You know, we're working on certain projects right now. Wooden Wings is one of them. We started last year with this, and it's starting to grow again. But there's new things that I can see, which I know we're trying to work with getting a welcome sign for the downtown area. And I know they looked into the pricing of it. It's not a price that we would like to hear, but unfortunately, this is one of our goals. We want, to have the people recognize when they come into our city that it's a welcome sign. I heard the sign, you can actually see all the way up to, I believe it's 99th before the expressway. But, this is one of our goals that we'd like to see. And I think the city wants to see that too. That's the best I can tell you on that. In my point of view, the city comes first. And that's the best I can explain it to you.
Thank you.
Kurt, describe a time where you have experienced or exercised discretionary judgment in any issue or task that was before you.
Wow. Well, going back to AutoZone, I had the most difficult task, and this was last year. I had to go to Delavan and clean a store up. And I had to figure out why the store was not making money. Apparently what we found out is that some of the people that were working there were not doing their jobs. Unfortunately, I had to tell my district manager that we had to get rid of 2 people. That left 2 people in the store. And that was one thing that we did not want to happen. I spent 3 months driving back and forth because they needed the help there. 3 months of driving back and forth from West Allis to Delavan was okay with me. I didn't mind it, but I knew it was a job that I had to get done. Hiring people was probably the more difficult because we had to interview them. That interview took 2 weeks in order for us to say that their process of their application went through. Trying to find people was even harder. It wasn't hard. It was very hard for us to find people that were qualified, that knew automotive experience. We found people, but yeah, it took 3 months. And that's hard for any store to do. Even here, trying to find people that are qualified for that particular position, it's hard. Why is it hard? Is it because of the wage? Could be. Could it be the experience? That's part of it too. I started out not knowing a thing. I started right from high school and I worked my way up. I may be old-fashioned, but I believe if I wanted to get somewhere, I start from the bottom and I work my way up. I've always believed in that. I never believed going to college was one of my things to do. And that's my theory on this. I don't believe college is probably right for me, but I believe starting from the bottom and working where you would like to be, that's all about me. I start from the bottom and I've worked my way up through life. And I always have and I always will. Thank you.
Is there anything else you'd like to share to the committee?
All I'd like to say is I know that the city is going through changes. Changes are hard to do when you have some words that shouldn't be said and things that need to be said. Changes are very hard to do because some people do not like to have the city be changed. I know the city is going to have some new condos around the farmers market. That'll bring new people in, and they're probably going to be changing things around the way they would like it in that area. And it's going to be difficult for, those whoever, whether it's going to be me or somebody else, it's going to be hard for them to understand that the places that are there And the people that are gonna be living there, that they're gonna be new people, and they want a new experience happening to the downtown West Allis. And not just downtown, everywhere in West Allis. They're there to have a new beginning. They wanna live there too. And we need to help them understand, our philosophy and our business ethics. It's not gonna be easy, but I know it's gonna be a huge undertaking. And again, it's just gonna be a very huge new beginning for that particular area. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Kurt. We appreciate your interest in second district alderperson position. And now our committee will take some time out to make some notes, and then they'll be tabulated. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you put his name on top?
Yes.
Yeah, include it, yeah.
Put your name on top.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
will we need time for staff to tabulate these numbers into the others? And if so, should we take a 10-minute recess or continue on in discussion?
No,
I would think since there's only one, it's only gonna take you 2 minutes.
we've interviewed 9 candidates, and we'll now conclude the
Pardon?
interviews.
Because the others are all thumb, right? Correct?
And take a break while the
Yeah.
tabulation takes place by our city
Why don't
clerk.
you, I'll take this back up.
Doing all of them?
The administrator.
Said city clerk.
City clerk is tabulating.
The reason I was asking,
City administrator.
may I be excused for
City
a
administrator.
minute?
No, the city clerk is doing it on his computer.
Oh, okay.
She's delivering it to the city clerk.
I see.
Those are done?
I stand.
Are you guys in recess?
Can we just take a
We'll
couple
just
minutes?
start.
Okay.
Marty, what do you want? I really want to take a break.
We're at a meeting at 6. We're trying to get a dog park off the ground.
All right, I'll be right back.
Well, you didn't even put some.